Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, I'll show you how you can create this Apple-style new item view. Users can select a color and symbol. Notice that every time I open a sheet, it opens with a different color and symbol combination, like it does in the Apple Journal and Apple Reminders app. At the end, I'll show you how you can zoom the sheet out of the button as a bonus. Let's get started. First, let me show you the app file. When you open your project with SwiftData, you automatically get this setup. All we have to do is add our model into the schema here. Let's go ahead and define the enum for the symbols we'll use first. It should conform to string, codable, and case stable. List the symbols you wish to use in your app here. You can find the symbols in the Apple SF Symbols app. Right-click on a symbol to easily copy its name and paste it into your code. I'll also add a system name variable, which basically uses the raw value. To use handpick colors, I'll first add them as an extension to color. Alternatively, you can add them to your assets catalog by adding a color set for every color you choose and entering their RGB or hex values there. Again, I'll define a color enum like we did for the symbols. But this time, we need a color variable that returns a color for each case. Now we can define our item model. It will have an ID, name, symbol, and color. Notice that I'll persist the raw values for the symbol and color, not the enums. In the initializer, we'll expect a name, symbol, and color, and we'll assign the raw values of the symbols and color. We also need a color variable for the item based on the persisted raw value to use in our views. Additionally, I'll create a function that returns an item with a random symbol and color every time we call it. Now we are ready to build our new item view. We are going to need our model context to insert the item into the database. I'll also use dismiss to easily close the sheet when we are done. And we'll use a state variable for the item created by the function we just wrote. I'll start with a navigation stack and use a scroll view inside it. The view stack here will hold the view elements. You can add a padding here. Below the scroll view, we'll use a toolbar to add our save and close buttons. Let's fill in the structure we have. First, I'll place the item symbol. The color will be the item's color. You can adjust the size with the font modifier. I'll use a fixed frame to prevent jumping every time the symbol changes. As a background, we can use a circle filled with the thin material. Below the symbol, we'll place a text field and bind it to the item name. You can use center alignment and line limit for a neat design. Add a padding before the background modifier to expand the background. We can simply use a capsule shape as a background filled with thin material for consistency. As you can see, padding on the view stack gives the element some breathing space. I'll also add vertical padding just for the text field to move it away from the symbol. For the colors, I'll use a lazy vertical grid with adaptive grid items, so the number of color circles in a row adapts to the available horizontal space by increasing or decreasing the number of columns. You can check out the video linked in the description below to learn more about adaptive grid items. For each color in the item color enum, we'll place a circle filled with its own color. Use a fixed frame for consistency. Then I'll place a white circle border only for the selected color. If you use a smaller frame for the border, you can style the selected color just like Apple does. When a user taps a color, we'll assign it to our item. I'll use the same grid structure for the symbols as well. This time, for each symbol in our enum, we'll color the selected one with the item's color and use the secondary color in the hierarchy for the others. You can also use an overlay to make the selected symbol stand out. In the button action, we'll assign the selected symbol to our item's symbol, just like we did for the colors. In the toolbar, I'll first place a button to dismiss the sheet without saving. If you use an image instead of a label, don't forget to add an accessibility label for your action. I'll use a check mark for the Save button. Inside the button action, first insert the item into the database, then close the sheet with Dismiss. And you can disable the button if the name is empty. Now we have a functional NewItemView. Let's use it in our app. Don't forget to add your model to the schema. To test what we have done in the preview, you can add an in-memory model container for your model like this. I'll use model context to delete an item with swipe actions. You can query the items you already saved with the query macro. Define a state variable to trigger opening the NewItemView as a sheet. Inside the navigation stack, use a list. For each item, I'll show the symbol and the name. You can delete an item using swipe actions. We need a plus button to open a sheet for adding a new item using NewItemView. Trigger the sheet with the isPresenting NewItemView variable. As you can see, we can add items with a color and symbol. If you'd like to learn how to use the same view to easily edit saved items, let me know in the comments below. As a bonus, let me show you how you can easily morph the sheet out of the button. First, we'll need to define a namespace. Use the matchedTransitionSource modifier to let SwiftUI know the origin of the animation. Provide a name and the namespace we just defined. Then, just below the view in the sheet, add a navigationTransition modifier with a zoom option, which will ask for an ID and a namespace. Use the same ID and namespace you used in the source. Now SwiftUI knows which view elements to animate. As you can see, the sheet opens out of the button with a zoom animation. That's it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video to support us.